Rightio, Campbell's Comments Equestrian on location today. This is going to be a bit of a video I'm going to compile. I'm going to catch up with quite a few guests. Tony Norris, firstly, from EQEAL, joins me. Firstly, thank you very much for having me here, as well as Barastoc Horse Feeds. What are we trying to achieve here today at Romsey Park?
Well, today's our first masterclass. So EQEAL, being a new organisation, has two different streams. So one is education and one is events. So masterclass series is part of our education stream. And the idea is for these masterclasses for people to gain access to people they wouldn't ordinarily gain access to. So in this instance, our masterclass is very much focused on turnouts, feeding and workouts, but turnouts to the level of the Gary Owen and the miniature turnout. So we are looking at we've got Caroline Wagner, who's a four-time Gary Owen winner. We have Romsey Park, who've won numerous Royal Show championships, and we have Andrew Soper from Barastoc. So we've combined all of their knowledge to bring a masterclass today that just focuses on the intricacies of turnouts, but also, to give people an opportunity to ask questions and learn as much as possible from these people.
So what Campbell's Comments and Campbell's Comments a question is actually designed to do is, I suppose, raise awareness for different horse disciplines, but also high-end, low-end, try and make people aware of the whole lot. So there's actually a very, very good fit that we have here. And I'm going to give you a big tease. I'm not going to show all of it. I've taken little snippets already, and I'm going to take snippets of it later on, and we will go through the whole day, I suppose, and catch up. And I might even catch up with you at the end of the show as well to see it. But getting people involved in horses, I think horses are just the greatest thing ever. And to be able to get people involved in horses is one thing, but to be able to show people a different pathway is key, and that's what you guys are about. And with that pathway, getting to a level that they're comfortable with. Doesn't have to actually be up here, does it? It can be anywhere they like, but this gives them the opportunity to say, I want to go high end. How do I do it? And being part of these masterclasses is key.
Yeah, absolutely. The masterclasses are designed for people of every level. You may be just interested in the sport of showing. You may be interested in the Gary Owen, for example, or you may want to compete at that level. And I had a very interesting conversation with Caroline Wagner prior to the commencement of the masterclass today, and we were talking about that showing itself is a fantastic gateway to dressage riders who are competing in Europe and at the Olympics. And when you have a look at their background, nearly all of them have competed in and showed horses previously. So, Caroline, for example, as well, she spends a lot of time in Germany competing. From Victoria, we have Simone Pearce. Also, when I used to ride, Simone was a rider then, so it's always great to see. Marie Tompkinson. I mean, the list goes on as to who has a background in showing that is currently competing overseas.
And I think that part's very important. My daughter, she's 14 years of age and always wanted to be just a show jumper. Didn't like dressage. Then all of a sudden she realises to be a better show jumper, you need dressage. To be a better dressage rider, you nearly need the show component of it as well. So they all tie in, and this is one of the things I'm trying to do is break down these barriers of, well, I only do dressage, that's all I do. Pigeonhole yourself in it. You've got to look outside the square and do different things and look at how different things are doing. And there might be some people here that want to know how Greg goes about his showing component of it, not necessarily Caroline's part, but by sitting there and taking it all in, you're opening your eyes to a bigger field, aren't you?
Well, absolutely. You get a true appreciation of the effort that goes into it. So many people take it for granted that, particularly with these professional teams, is that, they win everything. But you need to have a look at the background and the effort that goes into it. And I can tell you the effort that they've gone into making today a success is massive. They've been here doing practice runs. They've held meetings to discuss the program. They've had dry runs. They've got, numerous volunteers involved. So there's 17 volunteers today who have all donated their time to deliver this masterclass. So there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, for these people to deliver these events.
There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes as well. With Greg, I got to, with Barastoc Horse this year, I think he won, I'm going to get in trouble, best small or medium. Anyway, he didn't win the large this year, I know that, but he did win. I can't remember exactly what it is. He'll correct me later on, or Terry will. One of the two of them will. But there's so much more goes on behind the scenes, including so many people. I think he had about 8 people there, from owners to just friends, as you said, that want to go along. That's the other part about it. You say about volunteers, friends, people want to go, it's great fun. I mean, it is a lot of fun. It's a very different field. I'm a harness racing person. It's a very different field to what you're used to. Racing people think that it's silly they would go around for ribbons, but it's not. It's a lot more competitive and it's a lot more fun, and it's what you get out of life as well, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's what you put in, you get out. And I mean, the harder you work, I mean, that's why these people are successful. They work non-stop to be successful. And, you know, you don't have to be a professional to be successful. You can do it yourself. It's a lot of work, and you know, if you speak to those that are successful and have a look at how much work they've put into it, you know, just merely presenting the horse, the level of effort and knowledge that goes into the sport to present horses to that standard, and our standard is probably the best in the world at presenting show horses, I just think is amazing. You know, people, you know, can learn so much from those who are successful.
This is the first of the masterclasses, but it's not the last. You've already got a couple more already planned, but you're going to try and continue these on right through the year and try and showcase as many different disciplines and professionals and people involved in any horse sport going forward as you can.
Yeah, absolutely. It's our first year, and this is our first ever masterclass. So, you know, we will manage very tightly this year what we end up doing. We don't want to burn ourselves out in the first 12 months. And being a new organisation, we don't have unlimited funds either, so we're very controlled about what we need to and what we're going to run. But at the same time, we want to make these events affordable. And that's part of our mantra, is that they need to be affordable events. So we do have a couple of other masterclasses in the pipeline. We're just waiting to see what we're going to do with them, and just waiting on approval from other organisations. But we do have some really interesting things. We're not necessarily just focused on showing. The reason we're doing showing in the beginning is because of the 7 committee members. That's our common interest, but we're not scared about doing other things and branching away from show horses. We're actually quite the opposite. We're very keen to do other things just to show people we're not all about show horses.
How do people find EQEAL?
They can find us on our website, so it's www.EQEAL, which is EQEAL, so it's Equestrian Events Australia Limited. We're also on social media, on Facebook. But if they go to our website, we've got everything there. We've got all our policies. You do everything online via our website. And if anybody needs to get in contact with us, you can either write to EQEAL or just contact myself.
Absolutely, and I'll have both tags in there. I'll have the website tagged into the comments, as well as a Facebook page. Tone, I'm probably going to catch up with you at the end of the day. Just have a little bit of a wrap. It is a bit fresh. I don't know if people can see the steam coming out of us. It's a bit fresh, but it's good turnout of people that you've had. I'll catch up with Caroline, Andrew, Greg through the day. I'm also going to catch up with a couple of people. I know there's a couple of trotting people here from Hero that like to do different things. So this whole show will have quite a few different guests. Just try and glean what they're trying to achieve as much as what they're trying to gain out of it as well. So I appreciate you giving me the time. We'll catch up afterwards at the end of it, just have a bit of a wrap and your feedback, and hopefully it's all positive, and we'll go from there. But thank you very much for giving me 5 minutes, mate.
Fantastic. Thank you. Much appreciated.
I'm going to actually throw now to an interview with Andrew Soper, and we'll catch up with Caroline a little bit later on. But yeah, thank you very much, mate. Right, catching up now with Andrew Soper. Just heard from Tony Norris. Firstly, Andrew, welcome to Campbell's Comments Equestrian page.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for coming along today. It's a quite pleasant day here in Bolinda.
You're kidding yourself, but that's okay. I've got the beanie on, not because I'm bald. I've got the beanie on because it's a necessity item, but it is very, very cold. Just heard from Tony Norris, and we had a little bit of a discussion about what's going on today. We've got Caroline talking still in the background there before, and you, as we're walking up, you said there's a lot more goes into that Gary Owen than you believe.
Mate, it's it's extreme, the detail that's in it. The stock and the starching of the stock and tying the stock and putting the pins through and the jacket and the lengths and where it's going to be hand-stitched and not hand-stitched. It's just insane. It's very detailed.
Luckily, you and I dress very, very properly, so we're all good. We've got the Barastoc jackets on, and that's all we have to do, isn't it? Oh, I've even got the beanie on.
Got the beanie on, yeah. No, look, it's incredible. You see the Gary Owen on TV and stuff like that, and you see it promoted, but to actually hear what those people have to go through in the preparation and the detail, it's quite interesting.
EQEAL came to you, and one of the sponsored riders, Greg, I forgot Greg's surname all of a sudden.
Mickan.
Greg McKinnon. Is it McKinnon or McKinn? Mickan. Well, how good am I going? Greg's going to be very upset with me, but that's okay. I could edit this part out, but I won't do that. You sponsored Greg, but you guys had no issue getting behind this because I think it's sensational idea myself. I think it's great that people are getting a bit of an awareness of different sports.
Oh, I think too, they really wanted to focus on the education and encompass that knowledge to everybody. And, Caroline's won the Go-Round 4 times. Greg and Terry from Romsey Park have won who knows how many championships going around the show circuit. And where else do you get that opportunity to ask those people the questions? And there's people up there now asking Caroline, how long does the jacket need to be and where do the buttons start and stop? And, where else do you get that information? You don't get that just competing at the horse shows. These people have been doing it a long time, and it's terrific that, they want to share that knowledge with the people coming through.
We have, and everyone else that has always said, the judge didn't like me because they don't like me personally and all the rest. You go watch some of these and there could be more to it than personal vendettas.
Oh, and I think, the information that they're handing out today, Greg and there'll be some other people riding this afternoon going through how to ride a workout and things like that. It's the finer details of that sort of stuff that, you say, the people go to the event and they don't make the final cut in that particular class and they walk away, disgruntled because it's, the elite few that seem to keep winning it. But, it might be that little difference of how they did their actual workout that caught the judge's eye and gave them that little bit of an edge.
Being a part of a day like today, especially from the ground up, is important with Barastoc trying to raise awareness for different disciplines. Quite a few people just sort of stick to the racing, I suppose, and or showing or whatever, but Barastoc trying to get across all fields, as many fields as you can. That's why the association with Campbells Comments Equestrian actually works, and Campbell's Comments full stop, because we try to raise awareness, I suppose, for as many disciplines as we can. But this works because it's actually going to have all these disciplines included in it as well.
Well, it is, and I think, yes, we're a feed company and we supply feed, but, there's so many different aspects to, the equestrian world, and, I can go to a racing stable on Monday morning and they say, did you see who won a race on the weekend? I can say, well, so sorry I missed that, but did you see who won the polo, or did you see who won the cutting or the reining or the 3-star eventing at wherever? And they go, well, we cover all disciplines. We're not just involved in racing or showing. We do it all. So, to be involved in it at this level and help with the education and pass on that knowledge to other people wanting to come into it, I think is very important.
That's what I try to do here with Campbell's Comments. Try and just change it up as best we can and showcase what's going on. Education of feed and the likes. It's not just a matter of making a feed, putting it out there. There's a lot of research goes behind it. And Greg and Terry, they got behind Supreme when we first released it. They were actually, they tried it. They used a lot of different things. They decided to cut the feed dippers in half to make it a little bit safer for them when they're away. But Barastoc and Ridley Barastoc are constantly evolving, and they're constantly bringing out new products, which have got the science and the research behind them, and continue to grow their product.
Oh, and that's the thing, research evolves all the time, and, we have to try and keep up with that. And, there's a lot of very well-educated people around the world that do research on, what's better for the animal, no matter what the discipline is. So, we're trying to bring that to the people that use our feeds to help them have happier, healthier horses in whatever pursuit they're after.
To look at all the products on Barastoc, go to all the W's, barastoc.com.au.
That's the one.
Very, very good. So that's www.barastoc.com.au. Go there, check out all their stuff. But if they have questions, get in touch. There's plenty of people they can get in touch with. Yourself, if they see you out and about at race meetings, show meetings, wherever you are. But there is also like a hotline that you can ring and you can get information. And with COVID and the way it's changed, there's so many different ways that we can link up and see people.
Oh, absolutely. You can ring our customer service and they'll put you through to one of the team to help you out, whether it's one of the nutritionists. You can lodge a diet on the website. We're in partnership with Kentucky Equine Research. We've got a whole team of people there as well to help with diets and advice. And with COVID, we've done a lot more video meetings, I suppose, where people have, been at home and they'll video the horse, send us a picture, and, we can have a chat over the phone about, feed and what will best suit what they need to do.
Thanks, mate. Good luck. You got, I reckon you got a tough crew there. And I think it's great. I actually saw the Hildebrandts are there. I'm going to try and get Hollie to come up and have a 5-minute chat because, she's, she is a showy and all the rest, but she has save some time to dream, who's a harness horse, and she's constantly trying to evolve and all the rest. So just trying to get people's ideas of why they come to these events and what it's all about. And Barastoc providing it means, people can get their little teaser. That, they're not going to see a lot more than the backside here. We've got a couple of footage of overlays and the likes, but get involved with these. Go to EQEAL and get involved with them is the other part of it, isn't it?
Yeah, look, they've got a lot more coming up, and they've got some terrific speakers at some of the ones coming up. So it's very exciting with some of the educational, aspects that they've got on board. So get behind them, support them. I think, they're on a really good track here, and they're certainly trying to improve everything from the ground up.
Absolutely, Andrew Soper, thank you very much, mate. I'm actually going to interview Caroline, I think, next. Hopefully that's what I'm going to do, and then I don't have to edit as much out of it. But anyway, we'll try and catch Caroline once she's finished giving her demonstration, mate. But thank you very much for giving me 5 minutes of your time.
Thanks for coming, Paul. Really appreciate it.
Rightio, Campbell's Comments. I'm back, catching up now with Caroline Wagner. Firstly, you've been very, very busy this morning. You've been talking for a while. I'm glad you give me 5 minutes.
Yeah, happy to give you 5 minutes.
It's all good. I'll talk longer than 5 minutes, I can promise you that. Your husband is actually talking now at the minute, and I've totally forgotten his first name.
So, Peter
Wagner. You have the Wagner Saddlery, and you said that's over near the Mornington Peninsula, which is a long way for me. I haven't been there, but I'm going to get there. I might be across there very shortly, so I'm going to make sure I call in and see it. But you've been teaching people about turnout and one, turnout of their attire, I suppose, but also some of the little tricks and of the trade that you guys have learnt over your journey in showing.
Yes, look, I think everyone should go out there. I try to send them out all on equal footing so that when it comes down to it, really comes down to you doing a really good job with your riding and riding your horse really well, knowing your horse well, and doing a good job in the workout. And I believe everything else should be equal. There's no reason for you to not get your gear right, your saddlery right, and your clothing right. And I'm happy to pass on all the tips that I learnt along the way. I was lucky people passed things along to me, and we learnt things on the way ourselves in our journey, but more than happy to pass on my information.
It's a great little segue because you say equal, and that's what this whole day is about. It's brought to you by Equal Masters, and it's actually designed to do that, to give people not so much an upper hand, but put them on an evil
an equal chance.
Some of the things I've learnt, like jacket size, buttons, shoulder length, and the likes. It's incredible insight and information, and people need to be here to see it. I've said I'm not going to video those parts because we want people to come to these days, and this is not the first and only one. There's going to be a whole series of them. I've got no doubt that you'll be back by popular demand, because some of the stuff I took in there just blew my mind. I must say, I'm a racing person, everyone knows that, but I'm a horse lover. I love all disciplines of horsing. Showing to me years ago was, people running around with a horse, and if the best judge picked it, the best judge won. But there's so much more that goes on behind the scenes.
Yes, there's a lot more behind the scenes. It's so much more attention to detail. And look, in all classes, but especially in these classes.
Peter there before, he was saying about a little book that you guys kept of judges and what certain judges need and require and want. And that's part of something that you obtain through going to a lot of shows. But you go to a show... For mine, you go to a show, you show your horse, and then you go off and sit down and do nothing. You shouldn't do that. You should be watching all the other disciplines and work out what these judges do and don't like, and then know who your judges are. That's one of the key things that I've taken out of today.
Yeah, I think it's about doing your homework. So, look, we are in a sport that is a personal opinion. So you've got to be prepared to take that personal opinion. You go out to go in the ring, you've got to be, you're judging me, let's just say, and okay, so I've got to be prepared to take your personal opinion. Something else people should realise is you mightn't like my type of horse or my type of riding, and that's fair enough, but you should never get cross about that either. Just take on board what style you like as a judge, or the judge likes on the day, and watch him judge the other classes or her judge the other classes, and then don't look at yourself with rose-coloured glasses. That's what we always did. Look at it, and it's great if someone can video you. Take a good look at yourself and imagine you judging yourself, and would you have done this or would you have done that? And don't live in a goldfish bowl. Get out there and realise that it's a big wide world out there, and there's a lot to learn, and maybe you could see that there's things you can improve, because there always is. None of us are perfect.
I actually love that, and that's what Campbell's Comments is about, is actually raising awareness for people, raising awareness of so many horse disciplines, but keeping people in these games. So if you get into the show scene and all of a sudden you go to 4 shows and you keep blaming the judge, stop, have a look inside yourself. Don't walk away from the sport. Stay in the sport. The key part is to stay in the sport, continue doing what you want to do and what you love to do. Or go and ask Caroline, go and ask Peter, go and ask someone else that's there that's very successful. What have I done wrong? And don't be scared to put yourself up for criticism, I suppose.
Yeah. And, it's a bit like we explained. I had, over the years, you've had judges that like this or don't like that. And, okay, so I didn't win that time. So maybe you'll take out what you learn and maybe you'll write it down for what that judge likes. Maybe you'll just go and improve how you do it, And I learned a lot over the years and I'm still learning. You never stop learning. You never, and horses aren't robots. We're not robots. Some days your work will be super and you'll come back and generally all my wins, I finished that workout. It didn't matter whether I was going to be in the placings or not. I was happy with myself and my horse because it was the best job I know I could do. I came out and that was great because I knew I'd achieved what I wanted to achieve, which was the best I could possibly go on the day.
Greg and Terry, they've got their horse up here now and Peter's judging it. I was chatting to them before. They were nervous because they've got their turn out and they were excited about it, and they're smick and how they do that from Romsey Park, what they do. But they were legitimately nervous because they knew Peter was going to pick on it. You had two young girls come up, Georgia. For starters, she stood up there and basically, was your mannequin, your human mannequin, I can say that. And she done a great job, but just being able to show the differences. And we must say a big thank you to both Georgia and Miller in a minute. We'll talk about Miller in a sec. But to stand up there and have other people, I suppose, picking on her as well is a big thing. But she would have learnt so much as well from standing up there.
Yeah, definitely. And look, if we show and you put yourself out there under a judge, that's what happens. That's what they're doing. They're critiquing you. So you've got to be prepared to take it on board in a positive way and take something positive home from it. You don't let yourself get caught in the bubble that I'm perfect and they're wrong. 9 times out of 10, there's always something valuable that they've said to you in there, even if you don't agree with everything.
Well, I can actually tell you now, Caroline stood back and had a look and judged it, and she gave yourself, what'd you say, a 9 out of 10 because you had a crooked brooch.
Yes, definitely. I said that when I was doing it because I was trying to show people how I'm doing it. That, okay, before I would have put her out in the class, I would have actually fixed that. So I would have stood back and gone, no, that's not quite straight. I'll just undo that and redo it. Yeah. And you do. And
that's one of the key things about learning it. We then had Miller. I'm not sure how old Miller was, but she was just a dot. And I actually got the okay from Mum to show the footage of her standing up there. One, very, very brave of her, but I mean, the information she would have gleaned from that, and Mum as well, and there was quite a few little things. The key thing I took out of it, I was walking with just listening to you a lot, but because kids grow, like there were certain things that probably 3 weeks ago were okay, and they had this little growth spurt, and all of a sudden, and that's key. Preparation is key, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. When we're making gear for children leading into September, I try and leave it as late as I can because kids grow at different times of the year and at different rates, and sometimes they just grow slowly, and all of a sudden they have this huge growth spurt, and everything you've made for them suddenly is too short. So
I have
factor it in.
I have a 15-year-old daughter, and I know sometimes you look at her and you say, why are those pants not agreeing with her ankles? Like there's a fair gap that happens very, very, very quickly. Yourself and Peter, you've got behind this masterclass. You like it, and you put your name to it, and you're also sponsoring it as well. But you're really keen on this way of promoting and trying to equalise the show scene.
Yeah, I think workshops are great. People learn from them. It's more interactive. They can ask questions that they're not brave enough to ask, and that's what we try to have people we know ask questions so that people didn't have to feel like they had to ask themselves. So if you've got a question, ask it. But you can't learn. This is the best way to learn. Now, when I grew up through it, there were a few workshops, but not as many. And I think having workshops on all levels is great.
It definitely is. Wagner Saddlery, whereabouts are you? And you can give your website or your name so people can get in touch because that's what you're allowed to do. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, no, wagners.com.au with an S. And yes, there's lots of things to look at on the website, all our clothing, and there's a Hall of Fame to have a little glance through as well. But yeah, lots of all our saddlery and clothing is on there, and always feel free to give us a call. I'm always happy to chat on the phone to things, and we're on the Mornington Peninsula in Somerville.
Don't forget, Joe, sorry, not don't forget, but just be aware too, Caroline, how many times have you won Gary On?
So I've won it 4 times.
And you just say that with some sort of modesty. But for a lot of the people that aren't aware of what the showing is and all the rest, the Gary Owen, the best of the best come every year, and it's a once-a-year show. It's not once a quarter, it's once a year. So to be able to have won it 4 times is a massive feat, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And I retired from the Gary Owen sort of like I was about 40, so I could have kept going for another 10 or 15 years if I wanted to. But no, then I moved on to do dressage as well. But I sort of likened it to it's the Brownlow of the ladies riding event. So because it always used to come out in the old days, it used to be the same day.
It's got a racing background too, because Gary Owen was a horse. I can't remember the lady's name, but I do know her through
Violet Murrell, and she used to ride races as well. She was an amazing rider.
Yeah, and there's another harness racing lady that was tied up as well. There's this great crossover that all of a sudden gets lost. People just go to showing and they just say that's showing and all the rest. But a lot of this came from the racing people, and there was a lot of racing background behind it. It also flows into the dressage and making people aware of your presentation as a dressage rider. So if you can do showing good, your dressage will be better. The flip side is you don't have to do the showing. If you're not into showing, you don't have to do it. But glean from it what we did here today for your dressage appearance. And you were saying that a lot of the best dressage riders in the world at the minute are the Australians, and a lot of those come from a show background.
Yeah, and I think it teaches you how to go out and present yourself well to the judge, present yourself well, make the most of doing your work out there, and you look professional. Come into the arena looking professional, whether you be in the show ring or in the dressage ring.
One of the things I was always taught years ago, make sure your shoes are clean. I'm not going to take a photo of yours, but they are immaculate. And if anyone wants to know why you have your shoes clean, because the shyest person, when you walk up to meet them, will look down. If your shoes are clean, they say, wow, and it starts from there. And I must say, your shoes are smicked. That's one of my little masterclasses, but I was looking at it out there and I think it was great. Caroline, thank you very much for joining me. Thanks very much for coming on Campbell's Comments. Thank you for being part of EQUEAL today and what you've done. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people ask you. Wagner Saddlery in the Mornington Peninsula, you're going to give me that address one more time, and then I really appreciate your time.
No, thank you very much. Yes, Wagner Saddlery in Simcox Street in Somerville. And please give us a call, and if you want to come down and see us, it's great to give us a call and make an appointment, just because we're out and about doing saddle fits and bridle fits. Sometimes we're not always in the shop, so if you'd like to give us a call, because I can also measure you for top boots or help you with a bridle, all that type of thing. So it's great if you're coming down, especially if you're driving a bit of distance, to give us a call and make an appointment.
Campbell's Comments a question. I might call in, but you won't be putting me in top boots or a top hat or anything else like that, but I'm definitely going to come and I'll give you a bit of a promotion. Thank you very much for joining me.
Fabulous. Really enjoyed it, and it's great to do days like this, and I hope that we can see you again and do another one.
Definitely will. Thank you, Caroline.
Thank you.
Next up. Rightio, catching up now with Greg Mickan from Romsey Park. Firstly, welcome.
Thank you.
There's no truth in the rumour too that I may have got your name a bit tangled and twisted before. I might have called you about 3 different names, but don't let that worry you, mate. Great day here. You're a great sponsor too. You guys really put your name behind this and actually sponsoring these days here, hosted by EQUEAL.
Yeah, no, it's great to be part. We got approached to be part of a masterclass for EQUEAL, and we thought, we like to give our time to whatever equestrian discipline it is. If we're asked, we get behind as much as we can, because we're involved in the industry so much that we've got to keep it going. So, if there's an opportunity to be involved in it and help others and promote the sport, we're happy to be part of it.
I think that's what you just said then is key, and I've said it a couple of times. It's what the question page or all Campbell's Comments is about, is keeping kids in the game and keeping more people getting back into the game, and not just kids, adults as well. A day like today, some of the things I've gleaned out there, and I'm sure you guys have as well, the reason why some people disappear from the sport is they get, I suppose, annoyed with judges and what people suspect and expect out of them. It's an amazing eye-opener, isn't it, a day like today?
Yeah, no, it's been a fabulous day so far today, especially with the turnout and Caroline and Peter. I mean, they are, Caroline's a 4-time winner. They're very involved in the sport, and to have them here today to show everyone the finer details and that in what is involved in a turnout is fabulous.
It is, and you even put yourself up there. You took your horse in there, and a little bit daunting having someone like Peter and he judge and makes comments, and just some of the finer details that you can take. Like, I mean, you've won Barastoc. You definitely won last. What did you win? I can't remember. I know you were the winner. You weren't the main winner, but you won the next level there. But I can't actually remember the complete name.
Yeah, no, the different sections, we had a good show and won a few. But, I mean, even today with Peter looking at our gear, I mean, he picked up faults with that. And, that's fantastic. You got to take that on board. You don't get upset about it. You take it on board and you fix the problem. And that's how you've got to have an open mind. And, we can learn from everyone. No one's got the right way of doing it or the wrong way of doing it. If we all sort of help each other and work together, it makes for a good sport. Throat
latch was one that threw me, wasn't it? And it probably threw you a little bit too. But when he actually said it, you watched it and you're like, It does make a difference.
Absolutely. He pointed it out, and, if he was judging, we would have lost points for that. So, we take that on board now, and we get it fixed before the competition so that hopefully we don't lose marks for that.
Now, you're not just putting your horses up here just so people can pick or say about your turnout and your turnout gear. You're actually going to do a demonstration as well, and I'm pre-recording this, but you're going to demonstrate riding styles and riding patterns, I believe.
Yeah, we're going to do a little bit talking about ring craft, workouts, riding on the circle. We've got 2 different horses today. We've got a very green horse that's only been with us for a short amount of time. And then we've got another horse that has been a very successful horse in the show ring. So we've got, we can talk about different workouts for a show hunter versus a open show horse. And I'll give a bit of an insight as to what I'm thinking while I'm riding. And, my way is not the right way, but I'm always happy for people in the crowd to put their opinions across, and we can all learn from each other.
And the people in the crowd are going to be able to ask questions. That's the key to getting here to these days. Yeah. I'm not going to show you your whole ride. I'm not going to video your whole ride, because that's what it's about. This is actually a tease, because there's going to be more of these, and you guys are keen for more people to get involved in your industry. There's going to be other industries want to get involved in it, not just the show, but other people. Got to get along to these days just so you can get all the little intricacies. Peter, Caroline, Andrew's going to be talking in a minute, even just Tony, but just the camaraderie of the people around here as well, being able to glean from them. Yeah,
no, it's fabulous. And, when Tony asked us whether we'd be part of it, we thought about it and we said we'd be happy to be part of it, and I approached Andrew, as we're supported by Barastoc, and I thought, it'd be a great day to talk a little bit about Barastoc itself and get them on board and, showcase their product. So, it's been great, the little group that we've got together for today to showcase our sport.
And you've put your name behind Barastoc. You say you're sponsored by Barastoc, but you also Supreme. You got right behind the product even before it came out. You were only too willing to try it. You've had fabulous results. You actually really, really like it, and that's how you and I got to probably first meet. Everyone builds, and that's what grows an industry. Once you start getting other people, it's okay. Unless it takes me hat off and people are going to see how bald I actually am. But that's part of the thing, is just building a bigger, I suppose, network of people that everyone says, they're silly showers or they're silly eventers or whatever. It's actually breaking down all those barriers and people understanding what each different discipline does.
Yeah, I think that's great. Like I know for some of the other masterclasses, they've got people that are involved in different equestrian disciplines, which is fabulous because, like I say, we can all learn off each other. No one's right, no one's wrong. And the more we can work together as equestrian community, the better off the sport will be.
And then from Campbell's Comments point of view and Campbell's Comments equestrian point of view, that means the more kids stay in the sport. The more kids that stay in the sport, the more adults that stay in the sport, the better the sport is, because I think horses are great. I think they're a great lifestyle. Freezing cold morning, you'd love to have stayed in bed this morning. There's no worries there at all. But you would have missed a day like today. Like it is a cracking day here right now. I am being a little bit cheeky because the sun is belting in, but it won't be for long. But they're such a great lifestyle, aren't they, horses? They can be a drag. If you're on your own, you think they are a drag. So if you can be part of a bigger community, they're a lot of fun.
Yeah, look, horses are a great leveller, and I think you have your ups and your downs with horses. And, the horse community in general is a fabulous community, I would call it. And, you need an army to have a team of horses and get results and that sort of thing. And, it's... the more we can all stick together and help each other out, the better the sport will be.
Absolutely, Greg. Thank you very much. I'll let you go because you've got the very important Andrew Soper's going to do an interview with you. He can talk a bit too, you know that?
Yeah, I know that, yeah.
Thank you very much, mate. I'm catching up with a regular on Campbell's Comments equestrian, Hollie Hildebrandt. Welcome.
Thank you, Phil.
Good day here. A little bit fresh, a bit fresher than Elmore.
Yes, it's freezing. Very different to Elmore. I bet the sun shining in Elmore is probably a glorious day.
It is. But there's a reason you're here, and so many other people, like all these people are behind, and it's a bit of a unique experience, and it's a great day in a way, and some of the knowledge you can learn. These masterclasses, being able to, I suppose, capture from some of the experts as to what they look for, what they try to show, and it's a great way of growing your knowledge, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. We're pretty lucky to have this masterclass here today, run by EQEAL. We're lucky to have it, and with a few Peter and Caroline Wagner and Barastoc, and also Romsey Park here, giving us some insight and some of their knowledge to share with everyone is really good. And focusing on turnout classes is, obviously something that nearly everyone wants to do at some stage in their life, so it's good to come and get that experience, and it's all hands-on and you can see it straight in front of you. It's great.
You're quite successful. You want to get better. There's no hassles here. You want to keep learning. People need to be a part of these days, aren't they? Because it's quite a unique experience to be able to get here and tap into some of these experts.
Yeah, definitely. It's fantastic, the knowledge that they have, and they're willing to share it, and they're here so you can ask plenty of questions, and if you're not sure, they're more than welcome. They're willing to everyone to speak up and provide plenty of answers to everyone, and it's great that they're all here together in the one spot. You've basically come to one day and you can get all the knowledge you need straight away.
You can even watch, like Greg Mickan and them there over the back here now saddling up, ready to go for the last part of the day, which is going to be the riding lessons, not riding lessons, but riding and what people look for and they're going to fire questions at Greg while he's riding, what he looks for and being able to learn. So it's quite a unique experience. You do quite a few different disciplines. You're even part of the Hero program, which is what you and I have covered off on it. We need to do more of these sort of days, don't we?
We do, definitely. I agree. It's fantastic. And I think now that EQEAL's up and running, I think like they've said earlier, they're going to start doing a lot of master classes and not just focusing on the show ring world. Heaps of other equine disciplines, and they look like they're going to, widen it around. So I think it'll be fantastic.
We might even be able to get some of the Hero guys to come to some of these days and understand what people look for. There's a huge opening for a different sort of show ring and the likes. Yeah,
definitely. I totally agree with you there, Paul. Yeah.
And I've got to say, Hollie is not sponsored. She's not asked. I just seen her here today. And anyone that's in there behind, so why didn't he interview me? I know Hollie very, very well. I've known Hollie for a long, long time. So I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you taking the time out from the lunch. And I'm glad you made the long trip. Well done.
Thanks, Paul. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hollie. Okay, this is a wrap. Tony Norris, firstly, you'd have to be very, very happy with how this day's ended up.
Yeah, fantastic day. I think the presenters were really engaging. There was people weren't shy at all about asking questions, but there was also a lot of silence. So much information came out today, and I know a couple of people took pages and pages of notes. So there was a lot of information that was just invaluable that they couldn't get anywhere else. So, yeah, great outcome.
I actually saw that. Jeremy Roberts joins us as well. You were the MC, but it was great watching people write stuff down. At the minute, when I first seen it, I thought, not sure what they're doing. And then after a while, I realised they're just taking notes. And there was so many people here being a sponge to absorb everything.
Yeah, I think it's great. We don't get these opportunities. And, Tony and the team have worked so wonderfully to create these masterclasses. The opportunity for people to learn, it's not there. So something like this is invaluable. It really is. It's a great opportunity, particularly for the young kids. They don't get this chance to see these professionals. They see them at shows and they're kind of out there. But to be able to hear them one-on-one, it's fantastic.
Gone over time too, and this is the thing, the people coming and giving their time up, they've given more than their time up, if that makes sense. Like, I mean, you guys would have asked them, say, can you talk for an hour? They would have said yes, no worries at all. The Wagners, they're on their way home, like they've had a long day, they've headed home, but they've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I think that's the key. People need to get to these, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. I caught up with Carol and Pete before they left, and they absolutely loved today. So I think we'll be seeing a lot more of them, but it's just the sheer sharing of knowledge. And, I can't say enough that the showing is the foundation for a lot of successful people within the equestrian sports. But, if you want to aim to be an Olympic dressage rider, you need to get your backside into the showing ring.
And get here to these days, and even like you've got another one coming up, and we'll do an update on that when it gets a little bit closer. But they need to get here not only to learn, but to meet. I mean, Andrew Soper's over there. He's got about 6 people over there chewing on his ear. You guys are going to get the same thing when you finish. You don't get access to this if you just go to a show. You see them walking past. They might have things going on. Being able to get Caroline and Pete before they left, they give their time up. It's such an invaluable learning experience.
Yeah, and I think it's great. As Tony said, everybody wants to share information. This opportunity creates that, and it's fantastic. Pete and Caro, they're so immersed in the industry, and people want to share what they've done. They've learnt from other people as well, so it's a great opportunity. That's right, on both sides, and networking opportunity. Absolutely.
I do a lot of live streaming. I can do a lot of putting out big events and the likes. I've done quite a bit of that. I think they're mad, people saying they want to do that side of things. get to these days, because you can sit there and watch it on your iPhone or your computer, and you might nod off to sleep and you could miss the most important part. Be here and enjoy these days. That's the key, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and it also gives you an opportunity to ask any question that you like, because you might be sitting at home going, oh, I want to know this. If you're at these events, you can ask any question you like. There are no secrets. And it was interesting, I was talking to Peter and Caroline before they left, and they were saying that when she stopped competing at the Gary Owen, their business grew because finally she'd be able to share her secrets. And she says, I'm happy to share my secrets. They aren't secrets. I'm just happy to share my knowledge.
I interviewed her. She gave me a few of her secrets in that interview. It already would have been played, because this is the end. Asking the dumb questions is one of the things I pride myself on. I have no worries. I'll ask a dumb question when I interview them. I think you're a bit the same, and that's one of the keys to these days, is you'll ask that dumb question that someone might be thinking it of a judge, just so that it can get out there and break the ice, I suppose. And again, that's another part where online ones, people type in questions or whatever, they're not going to ask a dumb question because their name's going to be attached to it. So to be here, get Jeremy asking those hard questions behind the scenes that other people want to shy away from. That's the key to having these days, and then you raise so much awareness for people.
Yeah, I think it's great. You know, we all have to learn something with this, and there's lots of people here at these days. Not everybody is an elitist. That people at different levels, and there are little things that people might not understand or might not know. You know, things about flexion and turning to, horses over bent. What does that look like? What does it mean? That's what I try and encourage. Trying to get that out of the professional who might be on a bit of a different level to those other people. So it's important that we do ask those what might be a dumb question or a simple question. But there's definitely opportunities to learn, from everybody. So,
guys, thank you very much, Tone. The next one. How do people get involved with the next one, and how do they get involved with EQEAL?
Very straightforward. Go to our website, which is EQEAL.com.au, and everything is online there. So all they need to do for the next masterclass is go online and book a ticket via the website.
I thoroughly recommend it. I learned a lot of things, cheats books and the likes from Peter. Well, and that's what they gave up. So, I mean, you missed that today, but there's plenty of other opportunities to get involved and get to the next ones. Guys, thank you very much. I've had a great day. Next time, put the weather on just a touch warmer if you could, please. Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks.
Well done, Tony. Thank you.